Hey YouTube, I'm going to go over how I fight Amygdala. And what I mean by that is how I fight her normally. No fancy tricks. I'm not doing no-hit strategies. I'm not doing low-level stuff. Hey, if you didn't know, the squids can climb up on land. That's actually pretty funny and a little bit rare, but I guess if you're standing there, it'll happen. But this is the Amygdala arena, and I get asked a lot of questions about Amygdala. She can be pretty complicated. And I have a really boring and kind of safe strategy. It just requires some patience and a little bit of understanding of the boss moves. Forgive me for 1 second while I burn a sea animal. Oh wow, they're strong. Alright, let's do this. Fuck off. Look how far that came up on the land. That's actually cool. I'm going to leave that right in the video. Anyways, the thing with Amygdala when you're not doing any crazy tricks or strategies or anything is to be patient, have a little basic understanding of her moveset. I do not recommend coming in here on some of your first attempts and using beast pellets and any of your papers, because you're probably not going to get her if this is one of your first time playing or you haven't played in a long time, and you're going to waste those. Specifically, beast blood pellets build up the more you can hit a boss, and Amygdala is not one of those bosses that you can continually stand with and hit over and over again, so I don't use those at all. She is weak to bolt and arcane, and you know, if you want to use it, I don't think I'm going to use anything. Now here's the thing, Amygdala is an optional boss. What that means is, your first time you discover this area, if you get taken here, to that lecture building and you stumble out here, you do not have to fight her. You do not. This is my current levels. I am level 44. If you look specifically at strength and skill, you will see 30 strength, 25 skill. That's pretty strong. You can come here a lot earlier. My weapon of choice is going to be the saw cleaver, and it's already +8. So we're going to be in really good shape to fight Amygdala. If you fight her as soon as you possibly can in the game, you're going to be quite a bit weaker. So keep that in mind. You may want to come back when you have stronger statistics for your character, better gems for your weapon, hell, even a +10. So keep that in mind. And the reason I like the saw cleaver for this weapon, for this fight, excuse me, is because of this. When the weapon is transformed, a single R1 swings high overhead and you can hit Amygdala in the face. You see that? Whereas, let's say the saw spear, awesome weapon, but it has a stabby move or a slashy move. You see what I mean? So you actually have to press R1 twice to get the overhead. One, and there's the overhead. So, personal preference, of course. A lot of first-time players will use the axe because it is the strongest of the 3 choices, but look at this. You need a second swing for the overhead again. So whatever you want to do, you can just free aim the camera up and swing up and hit her in the face. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But for the point of this video, I will be using saw cleaver. And then one last thing before you fight this boss, just in case nobody knows, I would hate to exclude this because you fought your way through this whole level of hell and poison and bullshit, and you found the boss arena. If you go over here where this dickhead is with the torch, there is a shortcut, and I'm going to get it, and the easiest way to deal with said dickhead with the torch is to just burn him. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, he died. Okay, whatever. He's dying before I was ready. I'm throwing fireballs at nothing. But yeah, you just make your way up here, and here's the elevator. You don't even have to go with it. You could just trigger it, and now it is unlocked forever. So if you die here, which is pretty common, you can just make your way back to the elevator shortcut and come right through here instead of running through the whole level. Okay, so enough of that mumbo jumbo and nonsense and sea animals climbing on land and all that other stuff. Saw cleaver transformed out so I can get the overhead. Here's some information about Amygdala. She mostly takes damage on her head and her front arms that are hanging off the ground, pretty much the ones that are trying to attack you. She does have legs, and you can run underneath her or behind her and hit her legs or her tail, but when you do that, you will see that she doesn't really take too much damage. It's going to take you a really long time. She has 3 phases. She's going to start out hand slams and swipes, and she can shoot lasers like it's Star Wars. Not too crazy to deal with. I like to stay at a little bit of a safe range. Then the hand slam comes in, I can hit her in the hand that lands. I will leave my weapon like this the whole time. If I get an opportunity and I judge it correctly, I will actually forget her hand and go up and hit her in the face once or twice. But it's a patience game. This is not a boss where you're going to stand near it and kick its ass doing things like this. You just aren't. It's going to stomp you. So keep that in mind. Spend a little bit of time in here, try to recognize the different movesets and where the openings could be. She has a lot of hand slam combos. It's like boom, 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 and then she's idle for a split second. If you stay clear of the hand, you can then run in and hit her in the head and then run back out. Like I said, it's boring and safe, but this is what I do. Second phase is going to be all of the same moves, except she has an arcane area of attack effect. It's called an AoE. So where she slammed her hand before, let's say it landed right in front of us, and we were like, yeah, we're badass. It barely missed us, but we're standing strong. Well, in second phase, there's going to be a little bit of an explosion radius around it. So you're going to have to adjust for that. But the same thing will apply. Now, the trouble with Amygdala is in the third phase. You will know it's the third phase because she will literally rip off 2 of her arms and hold them like they're some kind of drumstick. And her range will increase because she's holding her arm. So she has the length of one arm plus the other arm she's holding. So standing out in front of her, I don't recommend. What I will actually do is run in between her. Let's say this archway to the arena is her crotch. I'm not trying to be cute here, but I'll just stand in front of her, stare at her crotch. She will stomp her legs left and right. Sometimes you will see me just kind of maneuver. I'm not panic dodging. I'm not like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Try to stay calm. Take some practice, don't worry. I just don't want to get stomped on. I'll move a little left and right. Since I am using this weapon with its very easy overhead attack, I can occasionally hit her in the crotch and reset. Hit her in the crotch and reset. Hit her in the crotch and reset, one at a time, patiently, because there is a little sweet spot, and again, I'm not being cute, in her crotch that does take damage. If you stay in between her legs and you're hitting her legs, you're going to see it's not really doing much. And here's the thing. She jumps a lot. She can do it in any phase, but you're going to see it a lot in the third phase. So if you're standing in between her legs, like I'm going to do, you will be able to look between her legs and see that she has a tail, and her tail will be touching the ground at a certain point. So she will squat down and jump out of sight, and you won't know where she is. You're not locked on, otherwise it's going to turn you silly. It's going to make you dizzy. All you have to do is walk forward a little bit to where her tail was touching the ground and stop. And you will be safe every single time. And with little practice, you will start to notice that her face is almost right in front of you. So with practice, you could just go smack, and then turn around and go right back in between her legs and stare at her crotch. Dodge the stomps. If you have the overhead attack that you're comfortable with, whichever weapon you're using, go ahead and hit her. But it's not about damaging her here. Just wait. She'll jump again. You move slowly forward to where her tail was touching the ground, and you wait. With little practice, you can nail one of these charge attacks or something. And if you're using one of these other weapons, you're going to have to make some slight adjustments for the reach and the amount of time it takes to swing the weapon and recover the weapon and all that stuff. But this is a very safe thing that I've always done in Amygdala. It's how I beat her on BL4. It's how I use the same damn strategy in the defiled chalice. I always hear from people, oh my god, defiled Amygdala is so fucking hard. With this strategy, I've never found her hard. And I'm not trying to say like I'm awesome. I'm saying this is literally boring and a little bit calculated and super safe. So if it applies to this one, it'll apply to any Amygdala you find anywhere in the game. Just so if this makes sense for you, stay tuned. We got this. So for the sake of the video, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to let her start the fight, and you'll see I'll be playing evasive maneuvers. We're going to show you some of the stuff because it's easier in the first phase. So she lands. Opportunity to hit her there for sure. Look. And hit her arm right here. With enough practice, you could dodge that like a boss, and you could hit her in the head. You don't need to run all over. I mean, it takes time to get comfortable, but if you notice, the laser tracks what doesn't damage you. It's the follow explosion that damages you. I know what that is, because I've been in here 8,000 times. You'll see this, look, bing, 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 and then big finish. And this is where, oh, it's far as fuck, but ooh, we could smack her in the head, and then we get out. And I never lock on in this fight. It's just easier for me to free run around and manipulate the camera myself with my right thumb. But that took a lot of practice for me to get used to also, so don't worry. If there's one thing in here that makes sense, awesome. If there's nothing in here that makes sense, good luck. Teach me what you figure out. So I kind of just stay at this distance. She moves forward, I move out. So I don't necessarily have to dodge because I have the comfort with the spacing. I kind of know where things are going to land. See? And just like I was saying at the beginning, the moveset is going to be the exact same in second phase. It's just going to have the arcane explosion on top of it. So like right here, after her hands hit, there will be a secondary explosion. So you can't rush in too fast. Let's show you again here. See, boom, boom. Maybe you could have got that one. Depends on which weapon you're using and how quick you recognize the opening and how comfortable you are here. But don't be tough on yourself. It takes fucking time. It takes a lot of time to get used to this game and the spacing, and if you fight unlocked on, and which weapons you want to use, you don't know yet. Some are better, some seem stronger, they end up not being awesome. For your play style, you'll figure it out, don't worry. See, there's the stomp. So if we were in between her legs, we do not want to get stomped. I'll show you here. We'll jump. So look. Hey, there's her face right in front of us. I know it's hard to see because she blocks the camera, but trust. Notice where her tail is touching the ground. Oof. I didn't remember that she had that reach under thing. Now trust me, she won't do that in the third phase. This is only because I'm showing you in the first phase where it's the most safe to showcase her moves, because once we get into second phase and then third phase, I have no time to pause and study. So forgive that. See what I mean? The laser tracks, it doesn't damage you. It's the after explosion. Recognize that I probably would have made it if I went backwards, so I decided to quickly go to the side and escape that. All comes with time. I missed. That also comes with time. You need to be a trained professional to miss attacks in this fight. But it can be one hit at a time. Like I said, boring, safe. Aside from me getting smacked in her crotch where I shouldn't have been in the first phase, but you'll see what I mean. No real opportunity for me to hit her on that move, so I just don't even bother. We're not in a rush. We're calm. Ooh, that's scary. She doesn't jump that often in the first phase, but she can. But as long as you kind of stay in front of her like this, recognize, like I recognized that one was coming out. How did I recognize that? Because I've been in here a whole bunch and I've got my ass kicked by her a whole bunch. 1, 2, I broke her arm. So if you have an overhead weapon, you can sneak one on her head if you're comfortable. If you miss or you're unsure, just wait it out. You don't want to stand in that because it'll stagger you in place and you can't move. And then in her second phase, which is here, she will have the same, oh, here you go, perfect, look at the after explosion. So you have to wait before you go in, just a little bit longer. And then in her second phase, that snot bullshit that she does will be just more of it. It's the same thing. First phase and second phase is pretty much the same thing. You just got the little after explosion. There she's stomping her feet like an asshole. See, there's the snot. It's going to be more head shaky and more coverage on the ground. Just stay clear of it. You're not going to get a hit at that point, so don't think you are and don't push it. Just recognize when the openings are and when they are not. And that comes with experience. The only way you get experience is by getting in here and doing it wrong. Thinking you're right. Doing it wrong. Realizing you were wrong. Hey, we got smacked. That's good. See, I'm human too. I just did that to reposition in the arena. You really don't want to find yourself against an edge of the arena in any boss fight, so sometimes you have to steer, or you might take a punch here and there. No big deal. Look, now let it clear. And if you break her face, I highly recommend taking the visceral, which I'm not going to take because then it'll just end the fight a little quicker, and I want to showcase some of this stuff. Like this one's kind of cool because it's more in front of her. Star Wars mode. That's coming out in front of me. So I gotta go sideways and away. And we're not gonna make it to her head, I recognize that, so let's hit her in the arm. Now when third phase happens, you're not gonna see much, besides her crotch and her jumping and me swinging. That's not an attack, you don't have to worry. That is. That's coming out in front of her again. So I'll go off to the side. Take 2. Whoa! Got stuck on her arm. That's the vital one, but when she finishes, her head is right in front of you. I probably could have took another one there for sure. So here we go, third phase, let drumsticks. So run at her crotch and do not stop, and just chill. Watch out for the stomps. There's the jump. We move to where her tail was, and we stop. Go back to her crotch. She's going to jump again and move to where her tail was, and we stop. There's her head again. You can do this all day long. You don't have to do any other attacks. You don't have to hit her legs. You don't have to panic. I know it's a little hard to see. You might have to move the camera around. See, there's a stop. But look, when you hit her leg, it does 8 damage, so you're going to be there a long time. Let me show you that sweet spot in the crotch. Look. 264, and that's because I have a weapon that swings overhead, and that's also because of the levels of strength and weapon I have, but this will work on anything. I use the same strategy in BO4, defiled Amygdala, like I said. Mostly I'm just trying to stay alive. You know, I will swing overhead and hit her in the crotch a lot, but I'm really just waiting for the jump. And then look, smack, overhead takes a lot of damage. And we just reset. Not too close, not too far. Watch for the stomps. She jumps. Stop. Hit her in the face. Go back to where you were. Told you it's boring. It's safe. But it's very, very solid. So, if you're struggling with Amygdala, give this a shot. You know, it may not work so good if you have the axe, the saw spear, holy blade or something, but you can make adjustments and make it your own. It's no big deal. So you're just not getting stomped. She's gonna jump. I'll show you once you get used to it. I already had that winded up. I knew where her head was gonna be, and I did a charge R2 with the transform. So we just ended it there. So like I said, that's how I've always fought Amygdala, and I've always been bored with the fight a little bit. Because it's not the most action-packed, kick-ass strategy, but it's safe. So, as my Bloodborne journey has moved on, I've learned no-hit strats, speed strats, all kinds of things, but I always have that to fall back on. So, I thought I would share. Best of luck to you all.